Welcome to the Dice Tower, a series of video reviews about board and card games. Here are your hosts, Tom Vassell and Sam Healy.
Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Z Garcia, hi.
Sam Healy, what's up folks?
Today we're looking at a game that came out recently called Shards of Infinity, deck building game. I was intrigued with this one because it's from at least one of the designers of Ascension, Justin Gary.
Right.
And it promised to be a short deck building game, which I tend to like.
Okay.
Cool.
You know, the fast, quick deck building games. Then I played it, and I was like, this game seems awfully familiar.
Very familiar, in fact.
In fact, it has some hints of Ascension. So they took a little slice of Ascension,
Yes.
mixed it in with a lot of Star Realms, and that's what this game is. Now, you might not have heard of either of those games. That's fine. Let me show you how to play it.
Here we go.
In this game, each player gets one of these four characters that's going to represent you. You're going to be fighting against the other characters, and characters are going to have 50 life, and you're trying to take the other characters down to 0 life. The first person to do that is going to win the game. So you have this life that you'll start with 50. You also have mastery. Think of this as levels, and you can go all the way up to mastery of 30. It's called mastery threshold anyway. And you're going to start with 0 if you're the first player. The second player starts with 1, etc. Each player also has a focus where they can pay one of the resources, the crystals, to get 1 mastery. You can do that once per turn. Players are also going to have their own deck of cards. It's going to have 1 shard reactor, 1 infinity shard, 1 blaster, and then 7 crystals. You're going to be shuffling this deck and drawing 5 cards. There's also another whole deck of cards with 6 placed between the players. On your turn, you're going to take the cards that you have and play them. Now, many of them are going to give you crystals. This is essentially the currency of the game. So this gives me 4 crystals. I can buy anything I want from the middle row that has a cost that is equal to 4 or less. So let's say, for example, I want to buy this Command Seer. This is an ally. It's an order ally. There's 4 different types. We have Order, Homodeus, Undergrowth, and Wraith. This will go into my discard pile. At the end of my turn, I'm going to draw 5 cards, so any cards that I buy will eventually show back up in my hand. And you can see this one here. When I play this will give me 2 crystals. Also, it has a shield on it of 5. So that could be useful. Whenever you buy a card, you'll instantly replace it. So maybe I might have bought the 1 first, and then maybe I could buy a 3. Whatever you want to do when you're spending money, you can buy multiple cards. Some cards, when you play them, will give you health. Other cards will give you mastery. Like this one here gives you 1 mastery. Many cards have, if your mastery level is 10 here, for example, this would give me 1 mastery and 5 health. So as your mastery goes up, you're going to be able to do more with some of the cards. Like this here attacks your opponents. This is a champion. You put it in front of you. A champion, when you play a champion, the card stays in front of you, and each turn you can exhaust it and use it. So I can exhaust him to do 3 damage to my opponents, but once at level 10, I will do 5 damage instead. So let's talk about damage. You can damage other players in your turn if you play cards that have damage. So if you notice in my initial hand, I had these 4 crystals, and then I also had the Infinity Shard, which gives me 2 damage against my opponents. If I'm at Mastery 10, 3 damage. If I'm at Mastery 20, 5 damage. And if I'm at Mastery 30, infinity damage. Which essentially means if you get to Mastery 30 and you get this card, you can take an opponent out of the game. That's a little harder than it sounds. When you do damage to an opponent, you can, during your turn, decide to do damage to take out any champions they have in play. So this one would take 4 damage to take it out. Otherwise, at the end of your turn, after you've bought and done damage and healed and stuff, all your remaining damage you can split between your opponents and doing damage directly to them, which they will take off on the wheels here. If a player has a card in their hand that has a shield on it, when you attack them, they can reveal that shield. They don't have to discard it, they just reveal it, and they'll subtract that much damage from the attack made against them. So with that being said then, let's just take a look at the different cards. This one here gives you 3 attack and returns a mercenary from your discard pile to your hand. Well, what is a mercenary? Well, there's cards that have this red outline here. They say mercenary, but they're really easy to tell. You can see they have the red outline and they don't. What makes a mercenary card unique in this game is when I buy a mercenary card. So let's say I buy this card for 3 crystals. I can put it into my discard pile, and when it shows up again, I'll start being able to use it. Or I can use it right now. So I could, for example, pay 3 for this, use it right now, give me 1 mastery, and if my mastery is 10, I get 5 health back. And if I do so, though, I don't get to keep it. Instead, I'll stick it under the draw pile at the end of the turn. So mercenary cards can be used right away. Like this one here says gain 3, and it also gives me an extra 3 attack. It also gives me an extra 2 for each wraith card, the purple cards, in my discard pile. This one, as I already mentioned, lets you put a mercenary back in your hand. This one lets you draw more cards. Again, you'll notice these are mercenary cards. This one here gives me 3 health and unify. If I play another undergrowth card this turn, it will also give me 5 attack. This one gives me 2, but 4 if I have one of those champions in play. I can banish a card with this, which means basically taking it out of the game to make my draw pile faster and easier to get things around. And you'll notice the higher the cost, the cooler the things they are to do. If this guy's here, if General Decurion is another card that I have in play, this can't be attacked. You can't get rid of this, and it's going to do 6 every turn damage to my opponents. This one's really neat. It gives me 4 and I draw a card, and if I have 50 health, I get 6 attack. Here's one that just says 4 attack, but at level 10, it does 8 attack. And there's all sorts of cards in here, and many of them are different. There's not a lot of duplicates in the deck, and each of these cards, you'll notice that the Homodias have more champions than the other ones do. They often give money. So sometimes the Grand Architect here is a great ally because he just gives you 5 mastery. You get this guy, and you can go up in levels more quickly. And you'll notice that your attacks and other things that you have will increase quickly as the game goes by until one person is left standing, and that person is the winner of the game. Okay, so at the beginning I said it's like Star Realms. It's really like Star Realms.
It's a lot. I mean, like heavily Star Realms.
Yeah, it's... When I first played it, I called Sam over and said, this is Star Realms killer. Because honestly, at this point, I can't see why you would want to have both of them. They are that similar.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I'm sure there's people who are going to like Star Realms more, but they are certainly a little too similar to own both, in my opinion. Yes.
I think the only thing that this does better than Star Realms is the life counters.
Tons better.
Well, actually, I'm going to jump on that. Let's talk about the components for this game. We'll do that first, okay? Because we mentioned the life counters. I think that they are really cool, except I could not read my opponent's life counter across the table. Right. I'm constantly having to ask them what it is.
Yeah.
But they work way better than the cards do.
Yes.
And it's just nice to have these life point counters. I mean, I wouldn't mind keeping a couple of these guys for use in other games. They work really well.
Right.
Except that the artwork in this game, I don't mind it. I think it's fine artwork. You're not as big a fan of the artwork.
I like it better than Star Realms.
What? It's just that what is this universe? I don't get it. It's called Shards of Infinity, and the Infinity, even with that font, almost looks a little like
here's
Marvel.
Thanos with a sword.
Yeah, the problem with it, I think what you're getting at is the fact that it feels generic, which is probably the biggest negative anyone can say about this game, really, unless they just don't like the game. But the gameplay feels derivative, the theme is generic, the artwork is technically fine, but it has a very tried and true, been there, done that quality to it. The whole thing just feels like it's been done.
Yeah.
You know?
It does.
That's bad. Is the game bad? I don't think it's bad. I like the game, and I like it better than Ascension. I might even like it better than Star Realms. But it's just too bad that it feels so generic.
See, that's the thing. I don't understand. I really don't understand how you can like this game better than Star Realms.
Oh, good.
I don't understand that. And this
I would
is
like
why.
to explain
This
it.
is why. No, this is why. They are that similar to me. How can you like this one better? I mean, I understand liking this stuff better. I got that. But in gameplay, you are literally, there are 4 different factions. They all work well together. You have the same number of cards in your hand. The cards do the same things that Star Realms does. I don't understand how you can like one better than the other than just simply liking the artwork in this one better.
Yes, that's it.
Okay, well, I will
really don't
explain
have
why I like
I
it
like
better.
that better, and I like the leveling up, which you're going to talk
I
about.
guess.
So,
Well, there's 2 things. One is the leveling up, which I like a lot.
Yes.
I also like in this game, and this
Which
is
you also don't even actually need to do.
that's true.
but you can.
But I whooped you.
But I whooped you one time by leveling up.
I know, and it was cheesy.
Oh, but you just said you couldn't do it. I did it.
No, I didn't say you couldn't do it. I said you don't need to do it.
Well, there's multiple ways
There's
to
a
victory
difference.
for sure.
Yeah. Same like in Star Realms.
Okay, well, let me kind of pull back, because I don't want this whole review to be like comparing to Star Wars, so that's going to happen a lot. But I like the leveling up thing a lot. I like how the cards have multiple uses. I think that's a neat concept, and it also gives you something to do with that extra money to tap the guy and say, okay, I'm going to use it to level up one ability. And I hope that they pursue this in the future with more things, like spend some levels to do something, or, you know, more ways to use that. I also really like the mercenary cards a lot. I like the idea of being able to buy a card and just use it right away. And it doesn't go in your deck, and you don't get it. So at the beginning of the game, it's not worth doing. But near the end, it can be really powerful.
Right.
You have a lot of extra money, I'm going to blow up the other person.
Gotcha.
And then finally, and this one is where I am going to compare it to Star Realms, I like that the heroes, what they have, I like the defense in this way better, where you just show a shield card from your hand to block it. So some cards you'll buy them because they're good blocking, and not having these base in front of you, which you have to attack before you can attack the other person. I get why Star Realms did that, but I kind of like that I can ignore those guys and just hit you.
Not all.
But
Not all. Not
well,
all of
there's
the
one
bases.
guy you can do that.
Not all of the bases you have to attack first. So you got to make sure. You got to make
You
sure.
mean
that,
Star Realms?
Yeah.
Yeah, but a good half of them you have to.
True.
So that's a strategy of Star Realms, but here I like it. I can ignore them, but if I do so at detriment to myself, because they're usually big attacks. And this game scales up uber fast. Like, it feels like every card is powerful. You know, and this is where I think this game improves on Ascension. Now, you mentioned this is a lot like Star Realms, but there's a lot of Ascension, and in fact, Star Realms for sure took ideas from Ascension.
Yeah. Well,
It's like this progression.
They're all very similar games.
But in this one, the cards, they build on each other. You got the green, the healing cards. You can just keep healing up.
Right.
You got the red attack cards. You got the ones that are making a whole bunch of heroes that are just, you did that in that one game against me. Nailed me to the wall. And then there's the weird set, get cards back from the discard pile and all that. Now, where I think the game does have a problem is on the front of the box where it says 2 to 4. You think they would learn by now. This is the 3rd game. Multiplayer of this game does not work. Why do people keep doing this? Now, I mean, in this one, you can split your attack. You don't have to attack just one person. So if I have 10 attack, I can do 5 to each of you.
Yeah.
Still, it's best as a 2-player game, or if you just attack the person to your left. Whatever, you know, or to the right, or whatever.
For me, whenever I come to that issue, I usually treat it more of a preference for myself than anything else, because I just don't want to play this kind of game multiplayer. Like, I don't play Summoner Wars.
Almost everyone I know, though, agrees on that.
Yeah,
Right.
see, I just don't. It's more of a preference for me, and that's the way I treat it. I'm not going to say it doesn't work, although I see what he's saying. It doesn't feel as good with multiple players than with 2. So I don't know. It's to me, it's if it says 2 to 4, and then I find out this is the kind of game it is, I'm like, yeah, this is a 2-player game.
Sure. But it works.
So what's your thumbage here?
Look, I like Star Realms. I know we keep clanking that bell, but so I cannot say, oh, I don't like this as, this doesn't get us high ranking because I like Star Realms already. I can't say that, but I do have to ding it a little bit for not really bringing that much that's new to the table and not giving me an awesome theme. The artwork is pretty good, and I do like the artwork in this, like I said, more than Star Realms. But I'm going to give this one a full, solid thumb up. 1 Infinity Gauntlet, dare I say?
What?
That's like the most powerful thumb up ever.
Thanos is one of the characters.
But just one, because I do wish they had. Is that really? Yeah, basically.
That definitely. That's Thanos.
It's a good game. Again, if you
Thanos
like this style, if you like these fast-paced, attack your opponent, deck-building card games, solid stuff. Just don't go into it expecting new stuff.
Right.
You'll be happy.
Well, I think it had some of the elements that we mentioned that were new. The leveling up aspect is new. The mercenaries, I think, are new. I
don't believe I've seen that.
I don't
in
think
game
I've seen
before.
that in any of the expansions of Star Realms, although
You will shortly.
I'm not
sure.
up to date on that. This does have a few shades of Hero Realms in it because it does have some of the champions or the heroes that stay in front of you and can defend you and that type of stuff. So they're all kind of the same kind of game, so they're going to be compared to one another. As far as thumbs are concerned, I don't know.
I'm going to claim that Sam owns this before the year is over.
Maybe, because I do like some of those aspects that you brought up. To say that I like it better than Star Realms, I don't know if I'm savvy on that. The fact that it includes some of the shades that Hero Realms, and I definitely enjoy Hero Realms better than Star Realms with the character packs, and that's one of the things that dings this one. Sorry to use your term. You have all of these different characters. Why don't they have special abilities? They all do the same thing. That seems like a huge thematic disconnect. Maybe you're going to do that on an expansion, but I don't like it when companies do that. You could have done it right now, and it wouldn't have done anything. Right here, just print a special ability that this guy can do that the other people can't. Come on. So, with thumbs, I think I'm pretty much with Z. I'm going to give it one solid thumb up. I think it's a good game because I think the other games that it is very similar to are good.
Right.
So to say that this one isn't as good or better or what have you just doesn't really thematically connect with me. It does a few things differently, but for the most part, you're getting the same kind of game as the others.
Well, I like it the most, obviously. I think this is my most played game of the past month, probably.
Yeah.
I played it a lot.
Well, you can play them one right after the other.
Right.
Don't get me wrong, I do like it, and to be honest, I could see myself, if I owned none, I have Star Realms right now, I would get that before I get Star Realms. And I might even get it and get rid of Star Realms, but it is just derivative.
I'm also going by Stoneblade's reputation, right?
No.
And when I first played Ascension, I was turned off by the artwork, but I liked the game. I was okay.
Yes.
The game got immensely better as time went by.
Yes.
And I know that you don't like that they pull out the stuff, right? But if they add it in later, that allows this to be sold for a really cheap package price, a price point, right?
Yes.
And then maybe later on they'll add more stuff. And I can see that possibility. That gets me really excited about the future of this. But as it is, I love it. Two alien thumbs up. They're psychic thumbs up. I really like it a lot. Best as 2. In fact, I don't know that I won't only play with 2. Because it's a fast game. I like that it powers up really quickly and then goes back down. Because someone's going to lose. But games are not going to end in a stalemate.
Right.
And I do love that the one card does infinity damage. If someone gets to 30 level up and no one has, you're both healing and blocking and stuff, someone's going to win. And that kind of gives that game a definite timer.
And a reason to have that very forgettable title as well.
Shards Infinity is going to sell really well in April.
I know I'm going to forget what that game's called. It'll be like, that game.
I'm going to come out of the movie and be like, Thanos, I'm buying this. You know they call it Infinity for that reason, right? Get it on the shelves now. But, so, if you've never played Star Realms, which you might not have, okay?
Right.
Fantastic game. It's a deck builder that lets you attack your opponent very quickly, and you get attacked so much in this game that you don't sit there and go, stop being so mean. It's just how the game is.
It
really is, right? I never feel like my opponent's being mean in this game. They're just hitting me faster than I'm hitting them. That's all.
You got to do what you got to do.
It just bounces back and forth. It's like a volley. Yeah.
Forget about it.
If you haven't played any of them,
I don't think.
if we keep talking about these games and you don't know what you're like, yeah, whatever. You guys keep referring these, and you like deck building games, you don't mind confrontation.
Ding.
Get this. Try it out.
Yep.
Well, I'm keeping it, which is pretty high praise for me, actually.
Yeah. Ooh.
So that is Shards of Infinity deck building game. I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Z Garcia. Thanks, everybody.
Sam Healy. See you on the flip side.
Thanks for watching our review today. For more information about board games, as well as the #1 board game audio podcast, check out Dicetower.com for reviews, interviews, and more. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.